Hey guys, welcome to the vlog, and this video I'm just going to share some experiences from my travels in Taiwan. It's an awesome country. I recommend anyone to go there. And on my travels around the world, I always think that you should get involved with what the locals are doing to really experience a place. And for me, to be like supposedly an expert in like China and Taiwan sort of culture and stuff, I definitely wanted to do that. So when I first moved there in 2008 to study Chinese, I was still a bit stubborn and I was still holding on to some Western things, so I used to eat breakfast at Starbucks. And, yeah, it's kind of like not really experiencing the local stuff, and spending a lot of money, because the local place is like really, really cheap compared to Starbucks. So I used to eat breakfast there, and that was the time at the Olympics in China, and after that was the poison milk scandal. And at that time, a lot of Chinese products got sort of banned from entering Taiwan and a lot of other countries because of all these big scandals. And so I went to Starbucks one day, and the server said, "Oh, sorry, we don't have your English breakfast tea anymore. Those tea leaves came from China. We're not importing them anymore. Not allowed." So I was like, "Oh man, what do I do?" Because I had this like secret, that like Starbucks had the best English breakfast tea in Taiwan. And so what I did was I just went across the street to this little street fair, and I found they were selling loose leaf tea, Taiwanese high mountain tea, and I'd never brewed it before, but I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to check it out. And the first time I brewed it, it was really bitter. I brewed it for too long. Second time I brewed it, the water wasn't hot enough, so it was too it was 太淡了, we say in Chinese. It was too mild, there was no taste. You can see actually my video, if you click here, about how to brew Taiwanese mountain tea. That's the results of my research. Anyway, so after a while I learned how to do it. It was actually my landlord who showed me how to brew it. So one day I come home from school, and the landlord has a load of Taiwanese friends sitting around. And he's like, "Ben, come and drink tea with us," So I come in, I drink tea, and they have these cups called wenxiangbei, and it's like a little cup where you sort of do this thing where you tip the tea in this cup, and it's a long vertical cup, and you put the tea in it, and then you tip it out into another cup, and then you just use that first cup, the long one, to smell the fragrance, And so he told me a lot about tea culture and how to brew the tea and how to do the little rituals like the smelling, 闻香杯, it means like aroma smelling cup, and all this stuff. So I'm sitting here drinking tea with them, and these guys just chatting in Taiwanese, which is like a dialect of Chinese that I don't know. So I'm sitting there like I'm bored, drinking tea. But they are so friendly, this is what Taiwanese people are like. You go to Taiwan, you'll discover Taiwanese people are so friendly. So anyway, after about an hour, I come with an excuse like, oh, I need to do my homework. So I head back up to my room, and then my landlord suddenly comes over the phone, and like every room in his house had a phone, and after about 5 minutes he's like, "Ben, we're going to the restaurant, you must come with us." It's like, oh my god, okay, so I have to go to this restaurant now, and again it's another hour like speaking Taiwanese. I don't understand, but it's a little bit annoying for me, but you can't really fault them because they're just being friendly. And this is something you'll discover in Taiwan. People you meet just out and about on the street will invite you to their house for dinner. They're that welcoming to foreigners. I met this guy on the bus. He wanted to invite me to his house to play Scrabble to improve his English, and he was like, "Oh, come on, come on." I was like, I had to kind of fight him off. Like, "No, I'm really, really sorry. I can't. I can't do that." Another thing people ask me about my time in Taiwan. I said, "Hey, did you like date any girls in Taiwan?" And actually, I really did not. And I think there's like a sort of I basically steer clear from that whole kind of thing. I was there to study, and there are a lot of Westerners who go to Taiwan or some other countries in Asia, and they find it really easy to get a girlfriend. And I think the reason why that is because probably, girls view them as kind of like exotic, like just in the UK, sort of like when maybe someone from like Italy or something comes and they speak Italian accent, and it's kind of like sounds really romantic, and like girls are like, "Wow, this guy is so like cool," and and it's kind of a similar thing. I think they view maybe Westerners as kind of exotic people, or they think that we have money, or that we are like kind of we can take them around the world and help them see the world and stuff like that, maybe. But I kind of felt this, and I like my moral opinion, moral standard on things is this sort of I try to be a very moral person. I don't want someone just to be going out with me just because I'm a Westerner, it has to be, because that wouldn't be real, wouldn't be real. So I avoided the whole thing, but a lot of my friends at that time, you know, they were into sort of dating and stuff, and one guy, he put an advert for a language exchange on a language exchange forum, and he got 200 responses, all from girls wanting to go on a language exchange with him, which is like a code word for a date. So that was kind of funny. But yeah, I think I went on like 2 dates the whole time I was in Taiwan, and the girl turned out to be kind of crazy. Someone set me up, and then the other one was just before I left, which was cool, but you know, I was leaving. But you know, some Taiwanese guys get kind of annoyed with, you know, foreigners like coming there, and they think like, oh, you're stealing our women, you know, this kind of thing. But to be honest, that's really rare, you know, because like I said before, Taiwanese people are really friendly, and they normally don't care about things like that. And there is a little bit of a sort of resistance to it. So there's, for example, my friend, he went on a language exchange with a guy, and this Taiwanese girl came over to the guy, and she gave him a origami paper crane with her telephone number written in it to the Taiwanese guy, and in front of this Western guy. And this was actually the inspiration for a video we made a while back on the Learn Chinese Now channel about the 5 language exchange partners you will meet. You can click here to see it, it's pretty cool. But that was actually a real story. And it was as if she wanted to say like, oh, I like Taiwanese guys, I don't like Western guys. So it was kind of funny, but it's kind of a playful way. It wasn't too nasty or anything, because Taiwanese people are really friendly. And so going back to that idea, when I left the country at the end of my year studying there, I'd learned a lot of positive stuff. You know, like I had spent, like I said, I didn't really spend time trying to do dating or anything like that. I was there to study, and I really studied a lot, and I made a lot of friends, just like regular friends, like people who I would learn Chinese with and stuff. So sun just went behind a cloud, so I had to stop. So like I said, you know, people there are so friendly, and when I was in the 2 weeks when I was coming up to leaving, all the friends that I'd made, they all did this thing where they say, oh, 我们请你吃饭, like they invite you for dinner and or lunch, and the thing is, like, when they say that, it means they're paying, right? They're treating you to dinner or to lunch. And so many people wanted to invite me to lunch. Sometimes I even had in one day I had 2 engagements with people who wanted to take me out, and I was even turning them down at the end of it. But yeah, they're an incredibly warm people. They definitely rank in my sort of top 10 or even top 5 of the friendliest cultures to foreigners. So I would thoroughly recommend anyone to take a trip to Taiwan, and maybe you have taken a trip to Taiwan. Tell me what you thought in the comments. And I'm going to be posting more of these sort of vlogs about stories about traveling and my views on things. Next week I think I'm going to do a story about mountain climbing in Switzerland, where I almost passed out on the top of a 4,000 meter peak. So do look out for that. Alright guys, see you later.